So in this lab, we are going to have a look at the queue data structure as well as the binary tree in the later section of the lab. So it says what is a queue data structure. So this is one of the other data structures that so in this case the queue uses the first in first out method of putting and retrieving the data. So you can assume or think of this as the line in maybe a bank, or whenever you go to the supermarket to buy some grocery, and then you make a line at the cashier in a line, and that line we can refer to that as a queue. So whichever person goes in the line first will be saved first, right? So first in, first out, and last in, last out. And very similar to a stack, we can implement a queue either using a array or using the linked list. So in this lab, we are looking at the array example. So suppose you have a queue, and this is the front end of the queue, and this side is the back end. So when you make a line, you will get in the queue from the right hand side. So when you put data into the queue, we call that a enqueue process. All right. So let's say you want to add a number into the queue, maybe number 5. So you will call the enqueue function and pass the value 5. All right. Enqueue means to put the data into the queue. So in this case, the data will go from the right hand side. Now when you put the data, that will go in front of the queue over here, right? So since there's only 5, that 5 goes over here. And if you call, let's say, enqueue once again with the value maybe 7, then that 7 will go after this 5. Right, and as you keep on adding more data, those data will be put at the back of the queue over here. And if you want to take out the data from the queue, you will call the dequeue method. So what this will do is take out the data that is at the very front of the queue. So in this case, we will get 5. So 5 will be removed from the queue, and now we are only left with 7. If you enqueue more data, then all of those data will be accumulated at the back of the queue, and something like that. And when you take out the data will be taken from the front of the queue. Now there's a class given here, class queue, and we have to copy that code and run the code. So it says consider the definition of the queue data structure. This queue has a pointer called queueptr to point to an array, which will be used to store the queue data. And a partial implementation of the queue class is also provided. So based on this information, we have to answer the questions that follow. So what I'll do is I'll open up my Visual Studio, create a new project, empty project. Next, I'll call this lab 13, and I'll save this in my lab 13 folder on my desktop. Create source files, right click, add a new item. I'll add a C++ file, and I'll give the name as main.cpp. Enter. And now I'll copy the entire code from this PDF. So this is our queue class. Okay, and there are some private and public member functions and attributes. The functions, some of them are implemented, and we have to implement some of them. Now, if you look at the class in the private section, we have a front and area variable. And then we have a queueptr and size. So the front and rear over here are used to keep track of the front and the back of the queue. So looking at this particular example, now in here currently our front is at this particular value, which is 7. So the front at the moment is pointing to number 7, right? And the rear is at 1, right? So if I enqueue some data into the queue, then that will go at the end, right? So over here, let's say I put 6 onto the queue, then the rear pointer will shift to the end of the queue, right? So right now the rear pointer is pointing at 6 because 6 is the last element in the queue. And likewise, if I dequeue from the queue, then this 7 will be removed and this front pointer will shift to 6. Then if I dequeue once again, then this will go, front will go to 8. Then again, if I dequeue 8, then front will go to 4 and so on, right? You get the idea. Then we have this QPTR. So this is just a pointer to an array. In our case, the queue that we are using is or will be made using an array, and this is basically is a pointer to that particular array. This size defines the size of the array. Now in the member functions, we have a constructor which takes a parameter s, and what happens over here is we have to implement the method of this queue class. It says implement the queue constructor. Now going back to the PDF, it says complete the implementation of the queue constructor, which is called queue. The constructor must initialize the queue size to s and use it to create an array of size s. This pointer QPTR should point to this array, and since there is no data in the queue, then the attributes front and rear should be initialized to 0. So what we'll do is in the constructor, we'll use this parameter s to initialize the size of the queue. So we can say size is equal to s, right? So this size is coming from the queue class over here, and we are setting that to the parameter that was passed to this method, which was this s. And then it says that using that size, we have to create an array using this QPTR. So we can say QPTR is equal to new int of size s. So the constructor is done. And then we have this enqueue method. Will come to this in a while. Then we have this dequeue, and we have this is empty function. Now this is empty function. The purpose of this function is to return true or false based on whether the queue is empty or not. So since this function is returning a boolean, then we will return true if the queue is empty. Now how do we define if the queue is empty? If I go back to this diagram, right now our pointers, this front and back, one of them is pointing to 4 and the other one is pointing at 6. Now using these pointers, we can do one thing. Actually, there are a number of ways of doing this. So one way could be instead of having our rear pointer point to the last element, what we can do is make it point to the next empty slot, something like that. So the rear will always point to the last empty slot. So we'll go with this method. So the front pointer will point to the very first number in the queue, and the rear pointer will point to the next empty slot in the queue. If you think about this logically, then a new number that will come in the queue will come to the next empty slot, right? And the empty slot in this case is the one that is after 6. So what we can do is when we are enqueuing data, then we can put the data at this rear pointer, right? So we'll put the next data over here, let's say 3, And after putting the data, we can shift our pointer, RIA pointer, to the next empty slot. Okay. Now, when will the queue become empty? So let us try to dequeue the queue until it becomes empty, and then we'll see what happens to these 2 pointers. So if I dequeue this 4, then that 4 goes away, and this front pointer will come to 1. Then if I dequeue 1, 1 goes, and this pointer comes to 6. Then if I dequeue, then this 6 goes, and this pointer comes to 3. Again, if I dequeue, 3 goes, and this front pointer will come to the RIA pointer. Now at this point, the queue is empty, right? And what happened to this front and RIA pointers? They both are pointing to the same location. So we can say that when both the front and RIA pointers are at the same place, then we can say that the queue is empty, right? So I'll just write the indexes over here. So this is index 0, since we are using implementing this using an array. So we had something like this. So when the queue was empty, then both the front and the RIA pointers will be pointing to the very same index. So in our isEmpty function, we can say that if the value of the front is equal to RIA, then we can say that the queue is empty. So we can return true, right? And otherwise, we can just return false by default, right? So if the front is equal to RIA, then we can say that the queue is empty, then we return true. Otherwise, if the function does not return, then it will go to the end of the function and it will return false by default. So that is the isEmpty function. What about isFull? So when can we say if the queue is full? So let's populate some data once again. Okay, so let's say we have these many data in our queue. The front pointer will point to number 2 or the very first index, and the RIA pointer will be at 7, right? Remember, RIA pointer will point to the next empty slot. So in this case, it is pointing at 7. So when a new data comes in, it will go at index 7, right? It goes over there. Then the RIA pointer will shift to the next one. At this point, you can visually see that the queue is not full. There is still some space in the queue, and we can put some data, right? And the data goes at index number 8. It comes there. Then this RIA will shift to 9. Now still the queue is not full. Then we will put one more data. Now where will RIA shift? It will go to index number 10, right? The value of the RIA pointer will become 10. Now in this case, the queue is now full, right? And this RIA pointer is pointing outside of the array, right? The size of the array was 10, and the value of the RIA pointer is also equal to 10, right? The last one was 9. When we increment the pointer, this will become 10. So the value of this pointer is now 10, and that 10 is also equal to the size of the array, right? So we can say that if the RIA is equal to the size of the queue, and then we can say that the queue is full. So we can return true, and we will return false by default. Right, so that is the isEmpty and isFull function. Now using this empty and full function, we have to implement these dequeue and enqueue. Now how do we enqueue the data? Well, we can only enqueue the data. We can only put the data onto the queue if the queue is not full, right? So we first check if the queue is full. So we can say if it is full, if the queue is full, then we cannot put any data. So we will return false. And if the queue is not full, that means there is at least one space in the queue, then what we'll do is we will put our data at index q, index ria. So what I mean by that is, if I have the state of queue something like this, now when I call the enqueue function, the data will go at index 8, which is equal to the ria. So we can say we will put the data at the array which is called qptr. And at which index should we put the data? It will go at index number 8, which is the value of ria. So q at index ria will be equal to our new data, right? Something like that. So it is saying qptr, which is our array, at index ria we put the data. So once we have the data over there, then what do? We will have to increment the value of ria. So we can say ria plus plus. All right, so we are doing ria plus plus, and then we can return true to indicate that the enqueue process was successful. So this was enqueue. And then likewise for dequeue, dequeue is for removing the data, and we can only remove the data if the queue is not empty. Right, if the queue is empty, then we cannot remove any data. So we check if the queue is empty, right? If is empty, then we return false to indicate that we cannot remove any data from the queue because the queue is empty. Otherwise, if the queue is not empty, meaning there is at least one data in the queue, then what do? So looking at our queue, now the data that we are going to remove is at index front, right, which is the front pointer of the queue, which keeps track of the very first value in the queue. So we can say qptr at index front. So this will give our data. So we are saying that the data is equal to the array at index front. So we get the data and store it in our data variable, which is passed by reference into this function. That means whatever value we put into this data variable will be reflected in the calling function, in this case our main function. So we take the data from the front pointer and save it in our data variable, and at this point this will be gone, right? That means we will have to shift our front pointer to point the next data in the array or the queue, which is at index 1. So we will need to increment our front pointer. So we can say front plus plus, right? And now you will see that over here one slot is empty in the queue. So if you think about the supermarket cashier example, when the first person goes away after buying their item, then what happens to the rest of the line? They move in front, right, one step. So we'll do the same thing over here. We'll take each of these numbers and shift it by one place to the left. So the 5 goes over here, then 8 goes over there, then we'll have 7, 9, 4, 5, 1, and then 4, and we can remove this. So after doing all of this shifting, we will also have to shift our ria pointer to point to the next empty slot. All right, and that is what is happening over here. So it is saying shift array contents towards the front, and we can do this by looping through the entire array. So starting from index 0 all the way up till ria minus 1. So up till which point do we have to do the shifting? All right, I'll just undo this. Right, currently the queue looks something like this. So we will start from the front of the queue, and we will keep on shifting until this index, which is index number 8, and that is ria minus 1. So ria is 9, ria minus 1 will be 8, right? So we have to shift up till 4 because 4 is the last person in the list, in the line. So starting from index 0 up till ria minus 1, so we are getting the data from index I plus 1. That means we are getting the data from this particular index when the I is 0, and putting the data at index I, right? So get the data from I plus 1 and put it at index I. So when I is 0, right, I plus 1 would be 1. So we get the data from index 1, which is 5, and we put the data at index I, which is 0. So this 5 goes there, then I becomes 1. So when I becomes 1, then I plus 1 would be 2. So we get the data from index number 2, which is this one, right? And we put the data at index I, which is 1. So that 8 goes over at index 1 and it replaces 5. And in the similar way, every other data is shifted one index to the left. Then what happens next? So we are saying you reset the front. Now the front is where? At index 0, right? So we will have to update our front once again. So we shift it to index number 0. So that is why we are saying front is equal to 0, and then ria minus minus. So now ria will come at index number 8, right? Our last data was at index number 7. This is just a copy, so we can remove this, although it is there in the array, but for our explanation purpose we will remove that. The last data in our queue is at index number 7. The first one is at index 5, and these are the state of the front and the ria pointers. And then once we have successfully dequeued the element, then we can return a true to indicate the success. So this was the enqueue and the dequeue function. So those are the basic operations that we will be performing on the queue. Now let's write some code in our main function to see the queue in action. So we have done part I. Then it says complete the isEmpty function. We have done this. Is full. We have done this as well. And complete the implementation of the get ria getter function. And this function should retain the value of the ria attribute. So the get ria function will retain the value of the ria attribute. So we can just retain ria. Okay, something like that. Then moving on, it says consider the following code in the main function that demonstrates the use of the queue class from B and show the output of this program. So I'll just copy this entire main function. So let's run the code and see what we get as the output. I'll change the size to 10 for now, just to make it easier for us to follow and hand raise. So run the code. We get some error. It says cout is non-defined, so we will need to include the header files. Okay, run once again. Okay, so the code compiles and we get some output. So we have x as 4, y as 3, and some data. Now let's do a hand raise of this code and see if our answer matches with the output. So what we are doing here is creating a queue of size 10, right? So we'll refer to this diagram. So we have a queue of size 10, and initially the queue is empty. The front and rear pointers, we can say they are also empty at the moment, or pointing to 0. So what we can do in our constructor, we can set the front and the rear to 0, Now what happens in the main function, we are saying that x is equal to 4 and y is 0. So we have x equal to 4 and y equal to 0. Then we are putting 7 into the queue. So NQ7 will put 7 onto the queue. So 7 goes there at the empty slot or where the area pointer is. Then we will shift the area pointer, so it goes to the next empty slot. And then we are putting x. So value of x is 4. So we NQ 4 onto the stack, onto the queue. So 4 goes there, and then we will shift our area pointer, which goes to index number 2. Then we are NQing x plus 5. So x is 4 plus 5, we get 9. So we put 9 and then shift our area pointer. Then we try to get the value of the area pointer and store that in our y variable. So the value of the area pointer is 3. We take that and store in y. So y becomes 3. Then we dequeue. So in this case, this dequeue function is taking a variable by reference. That means whatever value is dequeued will be stored in this x variable, right? So we pass x. Now when we dequeue, we will get 7. And since we are passing x, then we will basically put that 7 in our x variable, right? So x becomes 7. This goes away. 7 goes, and this pointer will shift to 4, right? And if you recall the implementation of the dequeue function, then we are doing some shifting over here. That means we will have to shift this entire queue to the left. So we take this, take the current queue and shift it to the right, to the left. So that will shift, and so will the pointers, right? Something like that. So now the front is pointing to 4 and the rear is pointing to the next empty slot after the last value. Then we NQ x plus y. So we get the value of x and y, so 7 and 3. So 7 plus 3 would be 10, so we put 10 over there. And then we NQ y minus 2. So y is 3, 3 minus 2 is 1. So we will put 1 and then shift our rear pointer. Then we NQ 3. So we put 3 onto the queue, shift our rear pointer. Then we get the rear pointer value and store that in x. So the rear currently is 5. We update y to 5. Then we have some Boolean variable. It says is dequeue success, and we dequeue one element and put that into x. So we will dequeue 4 and place that in x. So x becomes 4, and our queue will shift by 1 index to the left. So the state of the queue becomes something like that. Then we are printing x and y. And then we say while the queue is not empty, what do? We get the value of the rear. We print that. So in this case, the value of our rear is currently 4. So 4 should be printed, right? So we first print 4. And then we dequeue and put the value in x. So we dequeue the numbers from the queue. So when we dequeue, this 9 will be removed and placed in x. So x becomes 9, and then all of this will shift 1 space to the left. So 9 goes away, right? And area comes at index number 3. Then we check is the queue is empty, right? So it is not empty. Then what do? We get the value of area and print. So the value of area is 3. So we print 3. and then we again dequeue. So 10 goes in X, right? This will shift, so 1 goes there, 3 goes there, and this goes away. So the RIA will shift towards the left. So we print the value of RIA, right? So RIA is now 2, so we print 2. And then we again check, is the queue empty? It is not empty. So again we get the value of RIA and print, and then we dequeue. So this 1 will go in X, right? 3 will go over there, this one goes away, and this comes at 1, right? So when we print the value of this RIA, we get 1, and then once again we dequeue. So this 3 goes away, and this RIA will shift to 0, and at this point, so now it is empty, and not empty will become false. So this while loop becomes false, and this will terminate, right? Because the queue is now empty, right? And then we go to the later part of the code, and then we print X and Y, and at the end we get X and Y, which is 3 and 3. So the value of X and Y is 3, and that is what we get over here. Now in here you have seen that we are printing only the indexes. Now instead of printing the indexes of the RIA pointer, let us print the value of the queue as we dequeue them. So instead of printing the RIA, we can instead dequeue the element and just print the element that was dequeued. All right. So now when I run this, stop the code and run once again. Right. So you will see that we are getting the actual values from the queue. We have 9, 10, 1, and 3. Right. So these are the values that we had initially put onto our queue. So 9, 10, 1, and 3, and that is what we have got over here, right? 9, 10, 1, and 3. And then it says assume the queue object is declared as in part C. So we have a queue declaration. It says rewrite the main function so that the user is allowed to enter a set of inputs, numbers, one by one, and store in queue. The input entry must terminate if the user enters -99, or when there is no more space left in the queue, when the queue is full. So we have to write the code to display the contents of the queue. So what I'll do is I'll comment out this entire main function. Right, so we again have a declaration of the queue, and in here we have to populate the queue from the user input. So we can say while the queue is full, we will say while the queue is not full, right? Until the queue becomes full, we will ask the user to input the value into the queue, right? So we can print a message asking the user to enter a value to enqueue. The user enters the value over there, right? We will read the value in, let's say, X. We need to declare X, and then after the user has given the input, what we'll do is we will call the enqueue function and pass that value into that function. All right. So while the user enters the value of the queue, we will take the input and store that into our queue. All right. So when the queue becomes full, this loop will terminate, and we will end up at this point, and we can say queue is full, maybe, right? Something like that. And let's see if that works. So let's enter some values: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have entered 10 values, and the queue at this point is full. So the loop terminates, and we are given this output. Now the user might want to terminate earlier than to fill all the spaces in the queue. So what we can do in that case is we will ask the user to enter a value or negative 99 to exit. So when the user enters negative 99 as the input, we can check that value. So we can say if the X value is negative 99, then we don't have to enqueue. We can just simply break out of the loop. And then in here we can say printing the queue. How do we print the queue? We can use the dequeue function, right? So I can again write a while loop. We can say while the queue is not empty, so until the queue becomes empty, we will get the value from the queue and print it. So we can say int x, and we will call the dequeue function on the queue and pass the value x, right? The value of the dequeued value will be stored in x, and that is the one that we are going to print. And then once we are done with the printing, we can say that the queue is empty, right? So let's see if this works. So let's enter maybe 3 or 4 values, 6, 5, 4, 7. If I now enter negative 99, then the loop should terminate. It says printing the queue. So we had entered 6547, and that is the value that we have got, 6547. It's a bit difficult to read, so I can just put some empty spaces over here, right? And a new line over here. Let's try that once again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 99, and we get 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right, so that's our simple queue example. So that was all for this video. Thank you for watching.